Hey everyone, it's Jim from Small Time Outlaws once again, and this is my 7th video in my tutorial series on beginning game programming in Monkey. Today we're going to be learning all about arrays, or at least you're going to get an introduction to arrays, and we're going to find that the loops we learned about in the last tutorial and arrays really go hand in hand. Okay, and let's look. Don't skip ahead. Don't skip ahead. Now what I'm going to do first is kind of give you a brief explanation on what arrays are for. Why do we need them? So let's say you wanted to set up a list of 5 numbers in your program. Using what we've learned so far, you probably do, well, you think to yourself, I need 5 numbers, so I need 5 variables. And you don't have to follow along with this. I'm just kind of giving you, this is just for a visual. And so we're going to go ahead and start typing out 5 variables, each storing a different number in our list. Number 3. Oh no, I can feel the carpal tunnel coming on. It's not good, not good. And number 5 is 18. So there we go. That's our list of 5 numbers, right? Well, what if I told you there's a better way? And that better way is arrays. So let's make our first array. We're going to call this array numbers, and it's going to be an array of integers, so we're still going to use that int type. And now what makes it different from a regular int variable is these little brackets here. And these brackets tell Monkey that this is an array of integers. And we decided that we wanted to make a list of 5 numbers. So to set the size of this array to 5, we're just going to put a 5 inside those brackets. And what that does is that sets aside space in memory for a list or for 5 integers. And now how we're going to initialize the values in this array is by using the array name, and then in brackets we're going to specify the index of the cell in this array that we want to change. In Monkey, arrays are 0 based, so the first index is not going to be 1, it's going to be 0. And we'll assign that just like any other variable, it's going to assign it a value. And then going on to the next, this will actually be cell 2, but its index is 1. And we'll continue through and do the rest. And finally, you'll see that number 4 is the last cell in this array, not number 5. If you were to do numbers 5, assign 20, you'd have real big problems. We're going to get rid of that. So as you can see, we did less typing, but it was still quite a bit of typing. Seems kind of unnecessary to type that out, especially when we had a nice pattern going here with the 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So what we're going to do, like I said at the beginning of this video, is use a loop with this array to make things a little bit nicer. And in this case, we're going to use the numerical for loop, and we're going to create a new variable I for index, and it's going to start with the first index in this array, which is 0. And it's going to go 2. Now we could say 5 in this case, but if we said 5, that would include 5, right? So if we want to go to a number, we could say 2, 4. And so that will go from 0 up to 4, including 4. Let's go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be our 5 total cells. One better way to do this is actually to use the until, and Monkey has a nice little method that comes with arrays called length. And let's see, the way you did that, you just use the array name, then a dot to access methods in that array object, which I know object might be a foreign word to you right now, but we're going to go through them in just a couple videos from now. And so dot length, and that'll actually give you the length of the array. So this way you don't have to worry about changing each instance of 5 or 4 you use. If you want to go back and change the size of this array, it's always going to be whatever size you set it to. I'm going to go ahead and switch this back to 5. and it's because I used the until, it's not going to include that 5, which, like I said before, would cause problems. So now I'm going to access, now instead of using a number, I'm going to use this I variable because it's going to loop through each number 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm going to set it, and use some tricky math here. I want the first number to be 10, and then the next number, let's see, first number to be 10, so when I multiply 2 by the first number, the first index, which will be 0, that'll be 0, and so the first number will be 10. Look at that. And then the next one will be 12, next number after that will be 14, and so on. Works out. And now, as I said in the last video, there's one more loop I need to show you in Monkey, and that is the for each in, and I'm going to use it here to loop through the array and output the values we have now stored. So I'm going to kind of sets up the same way. I'm creating a new variable called num, and what's going to happen is now I'm going to use this each in keyword, and when you use this with an array, it's going to loop through each value in the array or each cell and store that value in num until you reach the end of the array. And so now that that's happening, to output those values to the console, use the print command, and I'll go ahead and run this right now so you can see. And there it is, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Now the one bad part about using the for each in loop with an array like numbers, which is an array of integers, is that you can't modify the array by modifying this num variable. You can only read the num variable. Well, you can modify the num variable, but it's not going to change the array at all. So if you wanted to make changes and still use the each in, you'd have to do something like create a variable outside, which will store an index like this, and then you'll have to increment this index variable inside the loop, and then you can print numbers I, or you can set numbers I to something after you print num. So it's usually best when working with arrays, and if you want to modify the array as you loop through it, is to use something like this so you have access to the index at all times as you're going through. And I'll go ahead and get rid of this stuff. I don't need that. And I guess, yeah, that covers our introduction to arrays. In the second half of this tutorial, I'm going to be going over some of the additional tricks that you can do with arrays in Monkey to kind of make them work better for you. So join me in the next video, and don't forget you can email me at jim@smalltimeoutlaws.com if you have any questions or comments about what we've gone over or what you'd like me to go over or anything like that. And you can also leave comments down below. So see you in the next video.